How's it going, everyone? My name is True Wonder Dog, and today I wanted to discuss the possible characters for the next Kombat Kast. I really enjoy these weekly Kombat Casts. They're so fun for me, so hyped. I love seeing every character once a week. It's a great way to build hype for the game and just get people all around excited in general. In fact, I actually have a full breakdown of the Cabal stream if you want to check that out. But for today, I wanted to discuss the characters who might be revealed on the next Kombat Kast. Now, we've already been told by the developers that it will be a female fighter this time around, which if the leaks are all true, that means we could see either Kitana, Jade, Frost, Cassie Cage, or Jacquie Briggs. Not Devora this time around though. Like many of you mentioned in the comments, she has actually been deconfirmed for the Kombat Kast this week. So now that we have it narrowed down to these 5 ladies, let's discuss who's the most likely to appear on the next Kombat Kast. So the 2 characters who I think are the most likely are Jade and Frost, mainly because the rest were all in Mortal Kombat X. So even though I am curious if Jacquie Briggs will play more like Jax this time around since he's not on the base roster, or if Cassie Cage will have a few of Sonya's moves that she's missing in the game, because Sonya doesn't have her big backbend flip, she doesn't have her like flying arch kick anymore, or her main dive kick, so I'm wondering if a lot of those moves actually went to Cassie Cage, and that would certainly be interesting to see, along with if Jacquie plays a lot more like Jax this time around. But even though those ideas do have me curious, I'm still more excited for everyone else. And I could also say the same for Kitana, because I'm honestly not sure what they would change about her. Kitana has a pretty established moveset in every single game, so I'm not super excited for her either. The only interesting thing I could see them doing with Kitana is actually giving her some of Mileena's attacks, similar to how they gave her Jade's attacks in Mortal Kombat X. Though if I'm being honest, I really hope they don't do that, since that would likely mean no Mileena in the game, even as DLC, and that would just break my heart. So I'm not saying I wouldn't enjoy a Kombat Kast for Kitana, or Cassie, or Jacquie. I very much would, but I just think the best move for NetherRealm and the Kombat Kast would be to do either Jade or Frost, since they've been gone for a few games, especially in Frost's case. She hasn't been around for a very long time. So I think having her on the next Kombat Kast would be their best move, but I think Jade is equally likely because she has a very big fan following. So let's go ahead and talk about Jade first, and what I'd like to see from her in the Kombat Kast. So what's always made Jade very interesting is that staff, because it gives her access to very long-range normals, which was very unique back in the day, especially in Mortal Kombat 9. Now in Mortal Kombat 11, quite a few characters do have some long-reaching normals, but only on a few of their attacks. So I think Jade is a good opportunity to have a ton of long-reaching attacks, not full screen or anything, but around jumping distance. Even if her combos aren't that great, it would be cool to see a character who kind of dominates at that range. And on top of her staff making her playstyle very interesting, Jade also has the ability to make herself immune to projectiles, at least in MK9, and this allowed her to approach zoners much easier. She could do that special move and then just walk forward for a few seconds, or even do a special move that would be projectiles as well while in that state. And then I believe if she enhanced it, she actually became immune to attacks as well, which made her very good for getting in on the opponent, because even if they had a long-ranging normal attack that wasn't actually a projectile, she could still walk through that as well and get closer to the opponent. And I think that would be a perfect fit for Mortal Kombat 11. Since the game does seem to have quite a few zoning options, it would be awesome if Jade was a counter-zoning character, someone who beats keep away and can just get in on the opponent no matter what, and even if the opponent does try to zone her out, she has the staff, which has better range than most characters, so she really can't be outzoned at all. I think that playstyle would make her a perfect fit for Mortal Kombat 11, especially against more heavy keep-away characters like Skarlet and Raiden. I think she'd fit in very, very well. Now, one thing I want to talk about is that Jade was not very good in MK9. Let's be honest, Jade was considered very low tier, possibly one of the worst characters in the game, and as a result you didn't see her at many tournaments, which was very sad, because I found her moveset to be very fun and interesting, but it just didn't have that mix-up factor. Jade basically didn't have any overhead mix-ups. She had one overhead attack that could start a combo, but it was very, very slow, so you had all day to see it coming, which means if you were fighting against Jade, you could just block low all day and she couldn't really open you up. So hopefully she has a few more mix-ups this time around, even if it means the combos aren't quite as damaging because she'd have good range and good mix-ups, so perhaps her combos wouldn't be quite as good, but that would be fine as long as her toolkit was solid overall, giving her good range on her attacks and solid mix-ups as well. She wouldn't really need crazy combos. So I'd say in summary, those 3 things are what I want to see from Jade on the Kombat Kast if she's the one revealed this week. I want to see if she has better range on her normals, using her staff and a lot more of her attack strings. I want to see if she has more ways to get around projectiles like she did in Mortal Kombat 9, and I want to see if she has a few more mix-ups to make her a bit more threatening when the opponent's on the defensive. Those are the three main things that I want to see from Jade, but of course I would love to see any new attacks they have for her as well. So now let's talk about Frost. Now I've seen a lot of disdain for this character in the comments section, mainly because a lot of people think she'll be like a Sub-Zero clone, but I honestly doubt that will be the case, and I think it's a bit of an unfair judgment to make, because to me saying that Frost will play like Sub-Zero is like saying Liu Kang will play like Scorpion, just because they both use fire. Or that Liu Kang will play like Kung Lao just because they're both Shaolin monks, or that Takeda will play like Scorpion because he's his teacher and they both use chains. I feel like all those assumptions are equally ridiculous, and I think there's plenty of ways the developers could make Frost play more unique from Sub-Zero, and I think that's why so many fans were asking for her. They wanted to see Frost fully realized as her own character, to see how different and unique she could feel as a character, and how different she could be from Sub-Zero, and I certainly feel the same way. I want to see Frost have a playstyle and moveset all her own this time around. Not to mention she was also teased a ton in MKX, especially in the comics, so even though I know a lot of fans haven't warmed up to her yet, I think there's just as many fans who are excited to play her as well, if not more. And I certainly do fall into that department. I want to see how different Frost can be from Sub-Zero. And of course I could be completely wrong. It could be the developers do give her moves that Sub-Zero's had in past games, but just doesn't have in this game, and that could be her moveset, and even so, she would still be different from Sub-Zero in this game, and honestly I'd be okay with either one, even if she did have Sub-Zero's moves from past games or just moves that he's lacking in this game and Mortal Kombat 11, I'd still be fine, although I'd certainly prefer if she had some moves we've never seen before and if she felt like a brand new Cryomancer with moves that are all her own. But please tell me which character you're the most excited for down in the comments. Which attacks do you want to see? Which characters do you want to see? I'd love to hear it. And then while you're down there, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It really does help my channel out a ton. Please look forward to the Kombat Kast this week because I will definitely do a breakdown of it, along with some live commentary over the matches as well. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.